Good afternoon. My name is Peter Londa, and I'm President and CEO of Tantalus Systems. Gilbert, thank you for the introduction. And as referenced, we recently joined the venture exchange of the TSX under the ticker symbol GRID, G-R-I-D, on February 9th of this year. As we make our transition from a privately held company to now a publicly traded company, it's a pleasure to be here and introduce to you what we do and the nature of our business. With that in mind, Gilbert had highlighted a few dynamics that are unfolding in the utility industry in introducing our organization. And unlike some of the other companies that have presented earlier today, our customer base is the utility. So we are a B2B business that is ultimately selling technology that we develop to help utilities address three key issues that are unfolding across North America and the broader world today. As many of you may be familiar, we've unfortunately witnessed an increasing number of storms from Mother Nature across North America and through the Pacific. When storms hit areas, they are very disruptive to accessing and having the ability to power devices. And so if depending on where you live, you may have unfortunately witnessed a power outage and will be unfortunately then extremely disrupted, especially in today's world where so many of us are working remotely and have children who are being educated at home. As storms roll through areas, and we certainly witness this in North America, which is the current area of focus for Tantalus, we are seeing and witnessing changes in consumer behavior. And so I'll give you an example. A few months ago, this past summer, I lived just outside of the New York metropolitan area, and we had a fairly substantial storm move through our entire state of Connecticut, as well as New York City and into Massachusetts. This storm was devastating, and it knocked out power to my home and my office for 8 days. In the US, that's an eternity. And so the disruption of not having access to power for 8 days in the middle of the summer has led me to change my behavior. And so I'm currently evaluating and gathering quotes for rooftop solar panels, for battery wall storage, and eventually we'll upgrade our vehicles to electric vehicles. As consumers like me begin to adopt distributed energy resources, solar panels, battery storage, electric vehicles, it changes the profile of how we consume electricity, and that impacts the infrastructure that we all rely on today in terms of accessing power. Utilities are being asked to effectively build a network that can integrate renewable and distributed energy resources while simultaneously delivering reliable and efficient power while using technology and infrastructure that dates back over 100 years. And so given that dynamic, Tantalus partners with utilities to truly transform the way electricity is delivered to our homes and our buildings. The first aspect of our solution is a very comprehensive communications network that we deploy on behalf of the utility. Once our communications network is deployed, we help utilities connect to devices. And what you're looking at here is effectively the guts of your iPhone or smart handheld device. We build and design with partners in China and across Southeast Asia to effectively turn an electric meter, a water meter, or other devices like distribution automation equipment and load control devices into high-speed, IP addressable computers. What that allows utilities to do is not only build a smarter community for the area that they cover, but also transform their grid as we start to drive electric vehicles and as we all try to be better stewards of the environment. In addition to the hardware that we deploy, we access data that feeds into a very comprehensive software application. And what you're looking at is a screenshot of what utilities use every day with our technology. It helps utilities understand where they have problems, how we are consuming electricity, what the state of their network is. And with the click of a button, a utility could come in the morning or at any point during the day and find out where they have outages. They can drill down in our software to find out where those outages are and what type. Are they at homes or are they at businesses? If they do have an outage, or if someone calls to ask questions about their bill, with a click of a button through our system, utilities can access specific details about each customer through software. They can understand and have visibility to how we're consuming power on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, and down to the minute. Not only can we help utilities understand how electricity is being consumed, but we can also extract data from meters and other devices to understand voltage and current and power quality. When you think about today's world and this conference, which is virtual, if any of us lost power, even for a minute, it would disrupt this entire event. It would mean not only do we lose power at the house, but our Wi-Fi stops working. And without Wi-Fi, it's very hard to connect to anybody in a virtual environment. As we continue to build the software capabilities of our business, we've just recently launched our first true data analytics tool based on artificial intelligence, whereby utilities can triangulate data to pinpoint the location and the cause of power outages. This changes the fundamental nature of how utilities plan to support all of us with electricity. By identifying and predicting where outages will occur, we can help utilities prevent failing infrastructure that can lead to forest fires, outages that can lead to economic damage, outages that can lead to, like we just recently saw in Texas, damage inside people's homes. Our solutions are designed to ultimately build the sustainable utility of the future. What we do fundamentally is help utilities safely and reliably deliver power. And we also help water and gas delivery. We help utilities build a more resilient grid in the face of increasing climate issues and weather patterns that are very disruptive. Our systems are laying the foundation for utilities to then truly command, control, and integrate distributed energy resources and maximize the investment that both the utility and homeowners are making. And in so doing, can help improve customer service and ultimately build better communities. We are very focused in what we do. Our business has been around for 30 years. We're not a startup company. Quite the contrary. Today, we support and are deploying our technology to 185 utilities across Canada, the United States, and the Caribbean Basin. Once we deploy our technology, the technology is in the ground and leveraged, utilized by the utility for, on average, approximately 15 years. What that does is it creates a very long-standing, sticky relationship with our customer, the utility, to deliver revenue on a repeatable and recurring basis. To that end, We've just completed our 2020 results. We have delivered a fourth consecutive year of positive EBITDA, and today 30% of our overall revenue is generated from software and services. As we think about the growth of our company, it's truly tied to monetizing data for the utility. And today our technology is capturing 30 billion data points on power quality, what the utility actually delivers to us, and consumption, how much electricity we each are consuming on a day-by-day basis. That's led to a growth in our financial performance. We'll be releasing our 2020 audited financials next week. And what you're looking at here is our historical financials dating back to 2013 through 2019. Please note that we report our financial information in US dollars, so these are not Canadian dollars. In 2019, we generated 42 million US dollars of revenue and approximately $3 million of positive EBITDA. As we think about identifying and attracting investors to support our organization as we continue to scale our company and access the public markets, we think we can provide a very compelling investment thesis for investors who are truly focused on investing to help the environment and to truly improve the way our society lives day to day. If you really think about it, we all rely on power and access to electricity for almost every aspect of our life today. Ensuring that utilities are constantly upgrading and improving their systems to ultimately provide support to us is critical for society. And so as a result, we believe we have a very compelling opportunity. Over the past few weeks alone, we've seen the US government initiate an effort that will include $2 trillion of stimulus. Of that $2 trillion, over $700 billion is applicable for our market segment, our customers, and our technology. In addition to that $700 billion, the state of California just recently launched a $500 billion initiative to upgrade electric utility infrastructure and invest in fire prevention technology, which we can help with to mitigate the sweeping fires that have devastated California, with smoke that has carried into British Columbia and across Canada and the Atlantic Ocean. We also witnessed JP Morgan earlier today communicate that they will invest $2.5 trillion over the next 9 years to help improve the climate, improve our environment, and help communities and utilities integrate and embrace renewable energy. There's a lot of investment in wind, in solar, and in batteries, but without a similar investment in actually the delivery mechanism, how that power gets delivered to all of us, those investments in renewable will not generate sufficient return. Our organization is proven with the support of and supporting 185 utilities. We've demonstrated an ability from a management perspective to continue to grow our business. And we've got a team that's in place to take advantage of the opportunity in front of us. With that, thank you for your time.
Thank you here, Peter. So just a few questions here that I'd like to throw in your way. The first couple ones from Olivia is that what sets you apart from any of your competitors, if there are any competitors in the market?
Sure. There are some competitors that are large meter manufacturers here in the United States. And what sets us apart is a few key items. So thank you for the question. The first is our market focus. We truly focus on what are referred to as municipal and electric cooperative utilities, which are utilities that are not like BC Hydro, but they're utilities that are owned by the city of Chattanooga in Tennessee, or the city of Chatham in Ontario. The business model of those utilities is different, and it's geared towards a direct return on investment for the capital that they spend. And in order to drive an improved return on investment, our technology has to be differentiated. And so there's a number of things that we do in terms of a Linux-based edge computing platform that allows utilities to access more granular data that ties to improved data analytics. We're able to help utilities actually, instead of ripping and replacing all of their existing infrastructure and all of their existing meters, actually start to upgrade meters while simultaneously automating devices that are in the field already. And we're the only company that's able to do that, which is a nice way for utilities to manage the capital expenditures that they need to make. The third area of differentiation is we have one communications network that we're deploying that can not only support the electric utility, but the townships can also use that to upgrade lighting infrastructure, like street lights that are being upgraded to LED fixtures. And so one network, multiple applications, higher return on investment.
Good. So the second question here is asking about your gross margins for the SaaS division and compared to software compared to your hardware business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so our SaaS, and I'll bundle that with software. Our gross margins for that segment of our business are in excess of 90% gross margin. Our services, which is professional services, project management, and customer operations support, our gross margins tend to be in the 55 to 60% range. And on the hardware side, our gross margins are from 38% to 40%. Our gross margins last year, and we provided some guidance through a press release a few weeks ago, our gross margin for 2020 in the aggregate was just under 50%.
Great. This question coming from Max here. Is this space that you're working in political right now? Is that a business risk for you? So I'm probably talking about your different states for the infrastructure, a bit sensitive. What's your thoughts?
So we have a new administration in Washington, D.C. that has clearly shifted the United States' policy from an environmental perspective. They are also, with that shift in policy, have established a mandate and a goal to decarbonize the entire power industry in the United States by 2050. And while we can think 2050 is 30 years away, long time, the amount of effort, money, and investment in infrastructure that will unfold is just starting to materialize with the $2 trillion that the Biden administration has allocated. That's just the tip of the iceberg, and what creates, from our perspective and for our shareholders and investors, a multi-decade opportunity to drive growth for our company. From Washington, D.C., it filters down state by state. I live in the state of Connecticut, just outside of New York City. Our governor has implemented a mandate to decarbonize the power industry by 2040, so 10 years ahead of what the Biden administration is driving to. The state of Connecticut is using those green initiatives to attract businesses, to attract jobs, and ultimately to attract people to live in the state. Where we sit with municipal and cooperative utilities, those utilities are not directly regulated the way a BC Hydro or Con Edison here in the New York metropolitan area would be. But they also have to meet the mandates that are being set at the state level and certainly at the federal level. So it's the tailwinds for this movement to decarbonize our society and certainly decarbonize the power industry and the automobile industry, which are two of the worst contributors to our carbon footprint, is substantial. And so we believe that this creates a long-term trend for us to be really well positioned.
So thank you, Peter, for addressing the questions here. Thank you for sharing your latest story to us.
Thank you for the opportunity, Gilbert. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, Peter.